Let's get one thing straight. I got kicked out of Georgetown. The neighborhood, not the school, was running a 3.93 as a pre-med major, thank you very much, under bullshit pretenses. It was when I decided that maybe I could do some good with whatever training I had out in the real world, is when I got into trouble. You see, they'd built a wall around G-Town to try to keep infected people out, but that worked about as well as you'd think. There was always someone's cousin who had to be let in, or somebody's coworker, and before you knew it, we had our own cases of green poison. That's where Victor Tran came in. Professor Tran was a big deal in neighborhood politics, and it didn't take much for him to convince people that the right thing to do was evict the patients and spray the neighborhood. It would make all of them safe, he promised. Now, I knew this was bullshit. They hadn't had any time to run tests on this DC-62 stuff he was talking about, and I said so. Loudly. And that's when Victor Tran lied. He told people I was sick, too, which I wasn't. At least not yet. He had me kicked out with the rest of the infected, sent us to the Syria camp down by the river, and sprayed his DC-62. I hear it killed him. Justice. She works in funny ways. The Sarah camp was hell. It was overcrowded. It was filthy. It was undersupplied. And I heard later the unit assigned to watch over the camp was skimming resources for themselves. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. They stayed up on the walls, and down below we got sick. Those of us who were sick got sicker. And so many of us died. I wasn't sick when I got to the camp. That changed soon enough. I'm one of the rare ones, though. I survived green poison. It was close. I almost didn't. But thanks to some good people who took care of me when I was at my worst, I made it through. They're all gone, though. Every last one of them. I tell you their names, but what's the point? They're gone. Once I recovered, it didn't take me too long to figure out just how shitty things were. How little those guards cared about the lives of the people they were supposedly guarding. It was pretty clear that they weren't keeping other people out. They were keeping us in. Me, I like going where I'm not supposed to. Tell me to stay, I'll be gone in a heartbeat. And when I figured out they wanted me to stay in that hellhole, even though I'd recovered, I figured it was time to move on. I found a way out, and I took it. It took something else, too. A purpose. I'd seen too many people with nobody taking care of them. Too many people with no meds, no blankets, and no clean water. I was going to get those things for them. It didn't matter that no one else cared. I did. There was a family I found hiding out in an apartment off DuPont Circle. The father nearly shot me, but he was shaking so badly from the disease he couldn't hold the gun straight. His wife and his daughter weren't showing symptoms yet, but it was just a matter of time the way things were going. Got the father meds that made his passing easier, sat with them until he was gone, got him fresh water, and by some miracle, when they didn't get sick, I left them with a stash of meds and a way to get hold of me if they needed me. I could tell that story about 20 different families around the city, and all those stories would be true. I'm not bragging. I'm asking you what you're doing to make a difference. And if you're just surviving, to think about doing a little more than that. One thing I still haven't gotten used to is how quiet the city gets at night. I keep on waiting for sirens, for cars, for all the noises we used to take for granted. Background noise, you know? Now it's insects and birds. Oh, and gunshots, so maybe not everything has changed. I remember a party junior year at Georgetown. A bunch of us just hanging out and drinking beers, talking about what we're going to do with our lives. I mean, well, pre-med, so it was kind of a limited conversation, but even so, none of us imagined this. I don't even know if anyone else who was at that party is still alive. And yet here I am, about to breach the Capitol Station dark zone again, looking for meds for the people who've fallen through the cracks of whatever system's left. I like to think I'm doing the right thing. Capital Station Dark Zone is the easiest of them to crack. There was a DC-62 burst, but everyone in the zone was military or Sarah. They knew how to handle an evacuation, unlike that poor idiot Tran. So they packed up everyone and everything they could get their hands on and got the hell out of there before the powder had a chance to settle. Good work, if you ask me. The thing, though, was that they got everyone out so fast, they left plenty of stuff behind. I'm told there's a fortune in military hardware just sitting there, waiting for someone to pick up. Not me, though. I wouldn't know what to do with half of it. I'm more interested in what got left at the field hospital. There's still meds there. Still sterile equipment and surgical supplies. Hell, there's even clean toilet paper. I've been in there 3 times and haven't come close to cleaning it out. I worry I'm getting predictable, but so far, it's been worth the risk. Found a little boy on the street today. I asked him where his people were. He told me they were dead. The way he described it, hyenas got them. They left the kid alive because they thought it would be funnier to watch him starve to death on his own. Fuck that. I don't care how many eyes they've got on me right now. I'm going to spoil their fun. Going to take him to the theater and make them take him in, because he's got nowhere else to go, and he can't stay with me. He's just sitting in the street now, looking at me like he's not sure if I'm real. If the hyenas mess with me while I'm taking this boy home, they're gonna find out just how real I am. Went back to the camp today for the first time. It's a dark zone now, abandoned and locked off, and there's rumors that it's haunted. Hard to believe that in the world we're living in now, people still have time to be troubled by made-up things like ghosts. Getting into the camp wasn't that hard. Someone had put in overtime cleaning it up from my days there. You'd never know thousands of people had died. It's not to say it was clean, just that there was no evidence of what had gone before. It just looked like a regular old supply dump, abandoned to the rats. There was a little bit I could use, so I took it. But the whole time I was there, I kept waiting for it to hit me, and it never did. It's like that piece of my past is walled off now. There's too much to do now that I can't afford to think about then. Shit, got DC-62 on my shoes. They'll have to come off. Not the first time, though. Won't be the last.